Hello everybody, my name is Tommy. I am a mask and puppet maker, and in this video I will be showing you how to make a Bonnie mask. Enjoy the tutorial! For this tutorial, you will need a head base. If you do not have a head base, click on the link in the description below to learn how to make a simple head base. So we're going to start by adding Bonnie's cheekbones. So what we're going to do... To make the cheeks, crumble 2 newspaper sausages and attach them to each side of the head. Make sure they're both the same size. And now you want to make the muzzle. The muzzle should look like a large peanut. And you're going to hot glue it onto here. Just remember, hot glue can burn you. It is extremely hot, and please wear gloves when you're using it. So I glue the muzzle onto here and make sure that the glue is completely dry and cooled off. Glue the cheeks onto each side of the muzzle. Okay, now we have glued on the cheeks and Bonnie's muzzle. We're going to put on Bonnie's nose, and then we will cut out the eye holes next. Okay, so let's put the nose on right now. So you're going to crumble a newspaper ball, make sure it's nice and flat. Ha-ha! Hammer time! There. So that'll flatten it. So that's about right now. So put that there. Yep, that looks pretty good. So Bonnie's nose is going to go onto here. So you're going to glue that on. Now it is time to cut out the eye hole. So we're going to take a Sharpie and we're going to draw where we want to cut it. When you're using knives and scissors, they are extremely sharp, so get an adult to help you if you don't have experience or you're very young. Always cut away from yourself. Now trace around it so that they both look exactly the same as the other cutout. Looking good. Alright, so there you go. So what is next? The last thing we need to do is we need to put on the ears. But yeah, this is definitely starting to look like Bonnie, alright? You'll need your glue gun. You will need your newspaper, and you are also going to need something durable. You could use cardboard strips. However, they're not durable enough to support the ears, because the ears, you'll find that they are going to flop over. Unless you want floppy ears, then you can use cardboard. However, you want it to stand up, then I'm going to have to go with something a little stronger. I'm going to use a paint mixing stick. Okay, so get an adult to cut these for you. I'm going to be using my Dremel. This is a router tool. Chances are a lot of you kids don't have one of these, and I don't recommend you using these without adult supervision, ever. Okay. Okay. 12 inches long, so I'm just going to draw a line right down at 6. That's where I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to need to raise this up a little bit so it'll cut my table. So I'm going to take these blocks here. And just like that. So it is cut in half. We got a good match. So this will be, don't worry about the logo on here. Well, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna sand that off. Ha ha ha. Okay, I'm going to be using this sanding bit right here. And just like that. You can barely even see it anymore. So there we go. So we are now ready to make the ears. Okay, so now it is time to make the ears. So we have you'll need to make another one of these. These will be the bottom ears.
The bottom ears should look like 2 flat eggs.
Okay, so you'll need 2 of these. Now we're going to be making the top ears. So like that.
The top ears should be longer than the bottom ears.
Okay, so you should have 2 of these and 2 of these that kind of look like teardrops, I guess. So remember, just be careful when you're using a knife. They are so very sharp. Cut a slit on the bottom. And then here, I'm going to cut a slit here. Then we're going to put this into here. And that's how you make it look animatronic-like. And that will actually hold. See? It's not going to flop over. This will keep it straight. So, I'm going to glue them on. And there you go. Let that dry and you will have yourself a set of ears. Do the same thing to the other ear.
The bottom jaw should match the bottom of Bonnie's muzzle.
That looks like Bonnie, actually. It really does. So I think we are ready to put paper mache on it. So let's get to that. Okay, so now we are ready to add the paper mache. So what you need to do is you need to brush on the surface area. You're going to need to mix some glue and water. So 1 part white glue and 1 part water works really good. Okay, so we brush on the surface area like so. Then you put on a layer of tissue paper. I'm using toilet paper in this case because it works really good and it's very cheap. Now you put that on there and then you brush on the glue on top of the tissue or toilet paper, whatever you're using. And then you put another layer on top of it. Just like that. You want to cover up this mask completely until you have at least 3 or 4 layers. Alright, so let's start covering this up. what you want to do now is take the bottom jaw and you want to carve a bit of a depression on here. So just gives it a bit of a mouth. So more realistic looking mouth. We're going to cut along there. And now take your cutout and just push it in, and you get a nice flat little pit. Now we're just going to cover all that up. So now what we need to do next is to detail the ears. So to detail Bonnie's ears, you will need take a sheet of cardboard. That is not a good sheet of cardboard. And you will need to trace some large ovals. You'll need to cut 2 of these out in that shape and then start cutting it out. And they're going to be glued onto here, so that's what you need to do. So I'm going to trace around here and cut another one. And now you'll need to detail the top of the ears right here. So we're going to cut something out for that. Yeah, just like that. So you'll need to cut another one of these. Okay, so now what you want to do, I've already glued these 2 on, so I'm just going to show you how to do this. Very easy, just try to keep it as center as you can. Then when you're done with that, just do some smoothing, just make sure that you're happy with your ears. Not too bad. That's pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it with more paper mache. Okay, so you're just about ready to paint Bonnie. You just want to cut a line right down from the nose all the way down to the bottom of the muzzle. Okay, so now that you have that, let's attach the ears. And we're going to glue them on. So just make sure that they're nice and centered. That looks pretty good. So, use some hot glue. I should be wearing gloves. Shame on me, but I'm not. But please do wear gloves. I'm going to do that for the next ear. I just guess I got excited. Okay, so that ear is now attached. I'm going to put my gloves on for the next one. Let's see. We're going to need a purple color. We'll need a lavender or like light purple color. Obviously we're going to need black. A silver to paint those connectors. And we'll need black, and then we're going to need white for the teeth. Okay, so now we just need to cut these rectangles, tiny little squares. We're going to glue on a strip of cardboard with hot glue. Make sure it has good contact with the surface. And you're going to take some elastic polyester fabric or something similar. Glue the elastic onto the cardboard. Then you're going to glue another piece of cardboard on top. And now I'm going to touch up the teeth. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to fit on the jaw. Make sure. You don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to constrict your breathing, but you just want it to fit on so that when your chin moves, the jaw moves. So that works right there. So, okay, so now what you need to do, you need to take the scissors. Trim that. Okay, so what you will need, you'll need 2 strips of cardboard. You'll need some hot glue, and you'll need. Now, this is what fits my size. So I'm going to glue this together. Now I'm going to glue this elastic on this sheet of cardboard. Now we're going to glue another strip of cardboard on top. Kind of like a sandwich. Gonna let that cool off, and while that's cooling off, I'm gonna touch this up. Alright, so to put your mask on, you first put on your bottom jaw, and now put on your body mask. I just want to tell you, when you're taking this thing off, take it off slowly. If you take it off too quick, this thing can snap on your face. So use both hands, and you take it off just fine. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Bye. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now go make yourself a puppet friend.